Oh shit, here we go again.
Hey, you're in the LZ and welcome back. Just recently in my last video, I talked about the problems of gameplay that No Man's Sky has, and after begrudgingly uploading it, worried about what the reception was, it tended to get different feedback than I thought it would. Okay, but after the conversation and the debate that came up from that conversation and the overwhelming support that the feedback that video got, wow, a lot of branching subjects came out of that video, and I kind of wanted to touch base on them over a video or two, and the primary one that branched out of that video, and the primary point of discussion after that, involved exploration for No Man's Sky, and that exploration is really one of the main selling points over the last few years, but now, really, essentially, we have to question, is exploration in No Man's Sky even that good? Again, this video will be as good faith approach to this subject and the entire subject generally as we can get, and by the end of the video, hopefully we can come to some kind of agreement on how we can make No Man's Sky a better game, and how we can all agree and come together on the idea that No Man's Sky isn't perfect, but we can all make it better. Join me as we talk about it, In an effort to critique No Man's Sky's exploration, we should do a few things to sort of set the standard for the conversation. First off, let's identify what No Man's Sky exploration really is. Secondly, let's compare it to a couple of other games in the genre that are doing it right, in my opinion. And then let's talk about how we can fix this issue and help No Man's Sky become the exploration experience that it really can be. Stay to the end of the video while we make an entire conversation and argument about this, and allow me to put all the points on the table for everybody to understand. So first things first, exploration in No Man's Sky consists of a few different things. Moving from system to system in the galaxy map, bouncing from planet to planet, for whatever reasons you choose, and from there, and I'm gonna be brutally honest, well, there isn't much there from that point. Give me a moment to explain, hear me out. To me, exploration means that you are in an unfamiliar place for any number of reasons to search out something, to lay claim to something, to find something. No Man's Sky essentially does that already. But when it's all said and done, there's rarely any reward for doing that. What you get for exploring in No Man's Sky is the ability to name the thing you found and put what is arguably the most use of the share button on the PlayStation 4 to good use. Outside of that, what exactly are you looking for? Ponder that for a moment. Think about the last time you've went chasing after something in No Man's Sky. You've went genuinely exploring. When was the last time that you have genuinely went exploring to find something special, other than a photo opportunity? Let me take you back a couple of years to my most fondest memories of exploration in No Man's Sky before it was essentially patched out in a way. Do you remember in the first year of No Man's Sky's life? Remember that a lot of us actively went searching for portals in No Man's Sky. Do you remember when you actually found one? And I swear, this is the stupidest example, but think about that for a moment. Think about that time before we truly knew that portals didn't have a function. When we found portals, when we actually put time and effort into finding these things, there was a sense of reward, a sense of accomplishment. The reward maybe didn't give you anything, but it piqued your curiosity. You, as well as everyone else in the world who found one, desperately wanted to try to find out how to make the goddamn thing work. In hindsight, that's kind of funny because they didn't work and we're all stupid. That's what exploration should be in No Man's Sky. Think about it. But in order to make some examples about what I think could be great exploration in No Man's Sky, I'm not even going to need to even venture outside of the genre that No Man's Sky lives in to provide good proof that exploration in a game like No Man's Sky can not only be meaningful and useful, it can be addictive, rewarding, and genuinely add meaning to literally everything that you would try to explore. A game that I highly recommend called Starbound has been out for a few years, but has been out of early access for just over a year, if I remember correctly. If I had a direct comparison to No Man's Sky, it would be this game. It's in 2D and it's procedurally generated. You can walk the entire circumference around the game's 2D planets, which are fairly large. You begin the game stranded at a planet and having to repair your ship before you can go anywhere. But the main draw of the game is exploration. Primarily, you explore planetary surfaces and even more so, subterranean parts of the planets. This is where the most entertaining and addictive part of this game comes in. If you're on survival mode, which is typically something that I typically play on, whether it be this or No Man's Sky or Minecraft, you have the capability of digging down all the way to the planet's core. You have to manage your health, you have to manage your resources, you have to manage your lighting, and you also have to manage your hunger. Any one of these things can have you dead, and that doesn't take account for whatever ugly, angry aliens you might run into in caves and structures below ground. Let me give you an example. Here I am spelunking in a cave, finding resources, money, killing aliens, with the only thing to light my way is a flashlight and torches. I happen upon this door. This door is a portal to another territory or world or dimension. As I approach this door, it asks me if I want to go to this finger quotes challenge area. And I'm like, sure, what the hell, why not? As soon as I'm entering the door, I enter this challenge space that is filled with enemies, pitfalls, and quite a few useful items that I can find there. But the only way that I could take advantage of those items is if I make it out alive. Of course I did, and when I get back out, I can continue to explore where I left off. Unfortunately for me, not too far down the cave, I found myself in a really ugly predicament. I fell down a mine shaft, had very little health left, and got murdered by an acid-spitting alien. God damn it. I lost everything. To me, this is exploration. Going on a journey in any direction, not knowing what you will find, but knowing that you will find something, and that something will bear rewards, even if there's risk in trying to achieve those awards. No Man's Sky desperately lacks this. Even for somebody like me who plays on survival and permadeath, can only find but so much of a gameplay loop within traveling and exploring. Exploring in survival and permadeath isn't really exploring other than trying to find caves and interiors to not freeze or bake to death. Cave systems in the games barely provide anything other than battery-making material and occasionally the good visual. The Abyss update provided some cool reason to go into oceans, but even then, that gameplay loop is short-lived, unfortunately. Planetary surface exploration is all but ruined with scanning. It's practically uncommon to accidentally run upon things anymore, especially if you're really looking for them. A simple scan from your ship can really highlight anything that's in your reach. Another game that I would of course compare No Man's Sky to is obviously Minecraft. Minecraft is another example of how to do emergent gameplay and exploration correctly with the simplest of tools. I was walking through a random forest and happened upon a temple that had traps and treasures inside, and configuring buttons on a wall is how I would disable all of these. I can be exploring a mine shaft, or I can be exploring a cave and suddenly appear upon a abandoned mine shaft. I could also be killed by any manner of things. It's these kinds of things that exploration could definitely benefit from in No Man's Sky. Risk and reward, that carrot at the end of the stick that I talked about in the last video. But speaking of the last video, some of the detractors that I had to that video, which was shockingly few, there exist folks that tended to like No Man's Sky the way it is, and that's fine. But something that we all need to understand is the idea that No Man's Sky doesn't have to change those aspects of the game. Your single players who don't wish to partake in co-op and multiplayer simply don't have to. Your tourists in the game simply can continue touring and taking their pictures and finding all of the random cool stuff that they like without having to partake in any new feature that the game offers. Exploration can definitely be improved in No Man's Sky, and I would like to hear your thoughts. Please put in the comments section on how you think of exploration in No Man's Sky. How can it be improved? Would you improve it at all? Or do you have some other ideas that you'd like to give to Hello Games and Sean Murray for them to implement in future updates? Folks, if you thought the video was useful and informational to your No Man's Sky experience, please do consider liking, dropping a comment, and sharing, and whatever all of those other things that bigger YouTubers than me repetitively say in their videos. And otherwise, good having y'all around. Please do come back later in the LZ, and I'll see you next time.